Hey folks, Mr. Huxtable here, and this lesson is on adding fractions. Okay, so on this one, this is where we start getting those common denominators whenever we add or subtract. So the next lesson will be subtracting. This is addition. So add and reduce the fractions when necessary. So here's number one, 1/8 plus 2/8. Okay, so these already have common denominators of 8, so you can go ahead and just add the numerators, and it's over 8. It's over the same common denominator. So 1 plus 2 is going to get you 3/8. Okay, so they just have to be the same denominators, and if they're not, then I'm going to go ahead and make them the same. That's where we get common denominators, but that's coming up. Okay, 1/8 plus 3/8, you go ahead and add those, that's 4/8, and then you can reduce that. 4 goes into 4 once, 4 goes into 8 twice, so it reduces to 1/2. Okay, so reduce when necessary. Okay, all right, let's try another one here. Okay, 7/9 plus 5/9. Okay, you're going to go ahead and add those and get 12/9. All right, and then reduce when necessary. 3 goes into that 4 times, 3 goes into 9 3 times, so you get 4/3. And I like this, so the higher you get in math, improper fractions are actually good, you guys. But if you are in probably grade school or even middle school, you guys, they might want you to convert it to a mixed number like this. So either answer is okay with me. They're both great. Actually, for graphing purposes, this is easier. But for higher mathematics purposes, this is easier. But I don't care. Whichever one your teacher requests, that's the one that you do. Okay. All right. So this one here, 2 plus 3.5, you just add those whole numbers and you get 5.5, you guys. Okay. All right. You do this one here. Okay, so what I'm going to do is add the whole numbers together. So I'm adding the 1 plus 3 together. Then I'm going to add the fractions together. 3/5 plus 1/5. So 3/5 plus 1/5 is 4/5. And then so these two guys add up to 4 and 4/5. Okay, let's try, okay, this one here. Okay, I'm going to add the whole numbers and then add the fractions right here. So the whole numbers are 1 plus 3, and then the fractions 5 plus 6 over 7. So you get 11 over 7. Now we can't have a mixed number and an improper fraction. That's just one of the rules you can't do. So if you have that, then I got to convert this improper fraction to a mixed number or change this whole thing to an improper fraction, 7 times 4 plus 11. Probably they're going to want you to make it a mixed number because we started with mixed numbers over here. So 11 over 7 reduces to 1 4/7. So remember, we divide 7 into 11, goes in there one time. And then you subtract. 11 minus 7 is 4, and then you start at the top. So this equals 1 4/7. You go clockwise. You start at the top and go clockwise. 1 4/7. Okay, so that 1 gets added with this 4, so now it's going to be 5 4/7. Okay, because this 1 gets, this whole number gets tagged on with this 4 right here to make it 5 4/7. Okay, all right, now here we got to get common denominators. So when we get common denominators, think of multiples. You like, and I always take the bigger number first, you guys, the bigger denominator first. So 6 times 1 is 6, 6 times 2 is 12, 6 times 3 is 18, times 4 is 24, 6 times 5 is 30, 6 times 36 is 36. So what common multiple does both 6 and 4 have? And a lot of you guys already know this already, but if you don't, then do the next multiples of 4. Okay, 4 times 1, 4 times 2, 4 times 3, 4, 5, 6. And we want the smallest one, you guys. They both have several in common. Here they're sharing 12 and 24, you guys. But I want the smaller one, so I don't. It eliminates reducing at the end, a lot of it. So if we can pick these ones, you can pick these ones also. You just got to reduce it more at the end. You're just creating a little bit, one more step for you at the end by reducing. So let's go ahead and we're going to multiply 1/6 times 1, because anything times 1, it won't change the value. Now I'm going to multiply 1/4 times 1, but my 1 for this guy is going to be 2 over 2, because that's going to get me 12. And my 1 for this guy is going to be 3 over 3. You know, anything over itself equals 1. So what I'm doing is I'm changing the looks of these numbers. So here's my 1 right here. Here's my 1 right here. That's just 1, so it won't change the value. It just gives it a facelift and makes it look different. Okay? So then now I can go ahead, remember from when you multiply fractions, 1 times 2 over 6 times 2, and I get 2 over 12, and then over here I get 1 times 3 over 4 times 3, I get 3 over 12. Now we have common denominators, and you can go ahead and add those numerators now. So you get, remember the numerator is your top number, so add 2 plus 3 over 12. The denominator is 12, so you get 5/12 on that. Okay? Remember doing that, you guys? All right, so here, common denominator is, hopefully you can see that, is 4. I don't need to change this one, I just need to change this one right here. So I'm going to multiply this fraction by 1, but my 1 is 2 over 2. That way it gets me 4 in the denominator. 1 times 2 is 2, and then 2 times 2 is 4, and then this is just 3/4. Now I can go ahead and add those fractions. 3/4 plus 2/4 is 5/4, so whichever answer that you guys are going to do, okay? 4 goes into 5 one time, this big one right here with 1 left over, so 1/4. Okay, excuse me. All right, so add these guys. Okay, common denominator is just 35, which is 5 times 7. So I'm going to multiply this fraction by 1 is 5 over 5, and this 1 is 7 over 7. Okay, so that way I get 35 here and 35 here. All right, so that's going to get me 15 over 35 plus 4 times 7 is 28 over 5 times 7, which is 35. Now we have common denominators of 35, so I'm going to add the numerators, 15 plus 28. And if I did my arithmetic right, 43 over 35, and you guys know me by now, I make lots of mistakes, so I haven't proofed this one out yet. So anyways, it's either this answer or it's a mixed number, this answer right there. Okay? Okay, this one here. All right, so I'm going to add the whole numbers right there. So, and then let's think of multiples. I always like doing the bigger number first, and I just started doing multiples of 14 times 1, 14 times 2, times 3, times 4. There it is right there. I know 10 goes into that, so that's my common denominator right there. Now, I'm going to teach you a different way of adding. It's the vertical method, you guys. I'm just going to add them on top of each other. So then I multiply this by 1 and this by 1. That way I get 70 in both denominators right there. So now I have a common denominator, and I can go ahead and add these numerators, add these whole numbers. So I get 3 plus 65. Again, if I did my arithmetic right, plus 49 is 114. That's an improper fraction, so I got to divide 70 into 114, and I get a remainder, goes in there once, and it gets me a remainder of 44. So, so this becomes 1 and 44 over 70, so that 1 gets tagged on with this 3, so now it is 4 and 44 over 70. Okay, and then I got to reduce this, you guys. I know 2 goes into those because those are both even numbers, you guys. Okay, so 2 goes into that 22 times, into that 35 times, so you get 4 and 22 over 35. Okay, let's see, what else do I have? Okay, so we're going to add 3 fractions here. So I got to think of multiples of 16 that match up with multiples of 12 that match up with multiples of 8. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and add the whole numbers, and then we're going to do, okay, so here's multiples of 16. I always like doing the bigger number first, you guys. So I start thinking, okay, what number does all of these, you know, I know 12 goes into that guy 4 times, and does 8 go into that guy right there? So I start thinking of what, you know, I do multiples of the biggest number, and then I look for the multiples of the next biggest number until where they match up, and then here's the 48 right there. And then, whoops, you can't see it with my thing there. So let me get that out of there. And then so there's a 48 on the 8 also. So this is 8 times 1 times 2 times 3 times 4 times 5 times 6. So there's 8 times 6. So this one's going to get multiplied by 6 over 6. This one here is 1, 2, 3, 4. So this is going to be 4 over 4, and this one's going to be 3 over 3. Okay, so go ahead and add those, multiply those times 1, and you're off to the racetracks. Okay, and then you're going to get that, and it's going to be that, because you can't. That's an improper fraction right there. Okay, that's it, you guys. Take care.